We're going to talk about the muscular system this morning. Yesterday we did skeletal. We thought of ourselves without our skeleton, and we decided we'd just be blobs, maybe bouncing around. But now we have our skeleton, but we have no muscles. What good is the skeleton without muscles? What can we do now? Nothing. If somebody comes by and stands us up, we'll probably stand there because we've got the skeleton. We can't move our arms or anything. So the body operates as a unit, and it's vitally important for us to understand how this unit is. Muscular, it's a little more important to us in our massage theory because we're going to be massaging the muscles to tone the muscles, keep them tightened up. Sometimes we have sore muscles. We do a lot of running. We realize that. We want to help loosen those up and get the soreness out. So we got to understand how the muscular system works, where the insertions and origins are for our muscles, which muscles are attached to our skeletal system. So the muscular system is the body system that covers, shapes, and supports the skeleton system. It contracts and moves various parts of the body, and myology is the science of the nature, structure, and functions and diseases of the muscle. Human body has 600 muscles, and they account for about 40% of our body weight. Muscles are fibrous tissues that can stretch and contract according to how we move. 3 types of muscular tissue. Striated muscles are also called skeletal or voluntary muscles. They are attached to the bones and are controlled by will. We move our arm, we will it to move. Our muscles allow us to do that. Pick up the book. Striated or skeletal muscles create heat and energy for the body during muscle contractions. They assist in maintaining the body's posture, and they also protect some of our internal organs. The non-striated muscles are also called involuntary, visceral, or smooth muscles. They function automatically without conscious will. They're found in the internal organs of the body, such as the digestive or respiratory systems. They function without conscious thought or control. We think about our digestive system, and sometimes we get some warnings from our digestive system that something's going on. But we don't control that. If we don't make a move pretty soon after we get those signs, something's going to occur, whether we will it to or not. Same thing with the respiratory system. We do not have to think about breathing. And I usually tell a joke here, so I hope that'll be all right. Blondes catch a lot of trouble these days. And there was a blonde that wore headphones all the time. And when she'd go to her hairdresser, it was really aggravating to try to do a haircut over headphones. And hairdressers being the way they are, one day the hairdresser got enough of it and snatched the headphones off. The blonde fell out of the chair and was dead. Hairdresser called 911. And while she's waiting on 911, she decides to see what is so important on those headphones that it actually killed the blonde when she pulled them off. So she picks up the headphones, put them on her head, and there was a voice in there that said, "Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in." So sometimes even the involuntary did not work like they should. Cardiac muscle is the involuntary muscle that is the heart. This type of muscle is not found anywhere else in the body, and we know we do not will our heart to beat or to stop beating. A muscle has 3 parts. The origin is the part that does not move. It is attached to the skeleton and is usually part of the skeletal muscle. We really want to know where those origins are because sometime in massage we pull and they're not stretchable. When we get to the insertion, it stretches and moves, and it's what allows us movement. So if we pull against the origin and we pull it loose, that is a fixed attachment. And we've got to have somebody go in there and fix it back. So we want to be real, real careful with our massage manipulations and our muscles. The insertion is the part of the muscle at the more movable attachment to the skeleton. And the belly is the middle part. Pressure in massage is usually directed from the insertion to the origin. Muscular tissue can be stimulated by massage, either hand or electric vibrator. Electrical currents such as high frequency or faradic, and we do use some electrical currents in our treatments. excuse me, especially our scalp treatments and our facial treatments. With light rays, such as infrared rays or ultraviolet rays, and when you get in the tanning bed, you're going to find that your muscle tissue is stimulated by that tanning bed. That's why sometimes you feel relaxed, revved up. Moist heat, such as steamers or moderately warm steam towels, and we use those a lot in facials. We also use them in scalp treatments, but usually we'll just put them under the dryer with the heat cap put on their head. Nerve impulses through the nervous system, and I know you've been in situations where you'd feel your muscles kind of tighten up because you dreaded it. Sometimes test time might be that time. And also chemicals such as certain acids and salts. And we're going to study about how chemicals or liquids or moisturizers may be induced into the skin without breaking the skin. The cosmetologist must be concerned with the voluntary muscles of the head, face, neck, and arms. We need to know where they're located and what they control. So we're going to start right off with the scalp like we did with the skeletal system. The Epicranius or Occipito frontalis. If we didn't get anything but that, would we know where it was located? You remember your occipital bone and then the frontal bone? So we know right off where that muscle is. It's the broad muscle that covers the top of the skull. It consists of two parts, the occipitalis and the frontal, or frontalis. The occipitalis is the back of the epicranius. It is the muscle that draws the scalp backwards. And we can go right back to our occipital bone and find where our occipitalis muscle is. Frontalis is the anterior or front part of the epicranius. It's the muscle of the scalp that raises the eyebrows. It draws the scalp forward. It causes wrinkles across the forehead. Aponeurosis is a tendon that connects the occipitalis and the frontalis. Muscles of the ear. They have no function, although a few people can wiggle their ears. They include the Auricularis Superior. Does that name tell you where it's at? Superior means where? Above. A-U-R-I always means what? The ear. So Auricularis Superior is a muscle above the ear that draws the ear upward. The Auricularis Anterior, and what does anterior mean? In front of. It's the muscle in front of the ear that draws the ear forward. Auricularis Posterior. What does posterior mean? Behind. It's the muscle behind the ear that draws the ear backwards. Then we have muscles of mastication, and we can feel those and do feel them a lot. And some people even have popping in their ears when they do the chewing. So the Masseter and the Temporalis muscles coordinate in opening and closing the mouth. They're sometimes referred to as chewing muscles. Where's our temporalis? We should know that from our temporal bone yesterday. And we know the chewing muscles have got to be located in our cheeks or our jaws. Muscles of the neck. The platysma is the broad muscle extending from the chest and shoulder to the side of the chin. It's responsible for lowering the lower jaw and lip. What is the lower jaw called, the bone? Mandible? Sternocleidomastoideus. It's the muscle of the neck that lowers and rotates the head. Muscles of the eyebrow. The corrugator muscle is located beneath the frontalis, so we know where the frontalis is. It's beneath the frontalis. And the Orbicularis Oculi. What does oculi tell us? Located in the eye area, so we're below the frontalis and the Obicularis Oculi. It draws the eyebrow down. It wrinkles the forehead vertically. The Obicularis Oculi, and oculi tells us automatically that we're in the eye area. It's the ring muscle of the eye socket. It enables you to close your eyes. Muscles of the nose. Procerus covers the bridge of the nose. It lowers the eyebrows and causes wrinkles across the bridge of the nose. There are some other nasal muscles that contract and expand during the openings of the nostril, but they're really not important to us in massage therapy. Muscles of the mouth. The Buccinator. And we say that expels air and I try to pronounce it so that I can remember. Buccinator. Blows air out. So it's the thin, flat muscle of the cheek. It's located between the upper and lower jaw. It compresses the cheek. It expels air between the lips. Depressor labii inferioris. We've got two descriptive terms there. What is labii? The lips. What is inferioris? Inferior or inferioris is always under. So we know it's located under the lips. The depressor labii inferioris was also known as the quadratus labii inferioris. Surrounds the lower lips, lowers the lower lip, draws it to one side, as when we express sarcasm. Levator anguli oris. And again we have one descriptive term, oris. Where does that tell us it's located? The mouth. It's also known as the caninus. It's a muscle that raises the angle of the mouth and draws it inward. Levator labii superioris. Labii, again, we know means what? Lips. Superioris means what? Above. It's also known as the quadratus labii superioris. It surrounds the upper lip. It elevates the upper lip. It dilates the nostrils, as in expressing distaste. Mentalis. We're just starting with our mental now, but we're going to find nerves and everything right here. So when we talk about mental or mentalis, we're always talking about our chin. It's the muscle. The mentalis is the muscle that elevates the lower lip. It raises and wrinkles the skin of the chin. Orbicularis oris. We got the word oris again, meaning mouth. The Occipitalis oris is the flat band around the upper and lower lips. Compresses, contracts, puckers, and wrinkles the lips. In the older books, they call that the kissing muscle. Risorius. It's the muscle of the mouth that draws the corner of the mouth out and back, as in grinning. Triangularis. It's the muscle extending alongside the chin. Pulls down the corner of the mouth. Zygomaticus. Do we remember where the zygomatic bone was? So where will our zygomaticus muscle be? In the cheeks. And we have a zygomaticus major and minor. They're the muscles extending from the zygomatic bone to the angle of the mouth. They elevate the lip, as in laughing. Muscles that attach the arms to the body. Latissimus Dorsi is a broad, flat, superficial muscle, covers the back of the neck and upper and middle region of the back. Also controls the shoulder blade and the swinging motions of the arms. Pectoralis major and minor are muscles of the chest that also assist in the swinging movements of the arm. Serratus Anterior. We can remember that anterior is what? Always in front of. It's the muscle of the chest that assists in breathing and in raising the arm. Trapezius. I remember this from trapeze, you know, the flying trapeze artist. It's the muscle that covers the back of the neck and the upper and middle region of the back. It rotates and controls swinging movements of the arms. Muscles of the shoulder and arm. Did y'all know some of these already? Start out with the one. We knew it, didn't we? We got our bicep. Our biceps produce the contour of the front and inner side of the upper arm. They lift the forearm. They flex the elbow and turn the palms outward. Little children always tickle me, feeling my muscle, and they're talking about their biceps here. Deltoid is the large triangular muscle covering the shoulder joint. It allows the arm to extend outward and to the side of the body. Then the triceps are the large muscles that covers the entire back of the upper arm and extends the forearm. Our forearm is from here to our wrist. And we're going to talk about some of the muscles and tendons as we go through Cosmetology 112. That would be manicuring and pedicuring, because we're going to massage it, and we know we go no higher than the elbow. We need to be concerned with the extensors. They're the muscles that straighten the wrist, hand, and fingers so that they form a straight line. The flexors, then, are the extensor muscles of the wrist involved in bending the wrist. Pronators is the muscle that turns the hand inward, the palm faces downward. Supinators, and we can remember again, superior is over. Supinators are muscles of the forearm that rotates the radius outward. What is the radius? Our thumb, the radius, rotates it outward and the palm upward. We have the muscles of the hand. And these to me are real easy to remember. The adductors add our fingers together. The abductors separate our fingers. And then we have the opponent muscles. They're muscles in the palm that act to bring the thumb towards the fingers. That helps us to grasp things and pick up things. Do we have questions?